Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to It's All About the Mouse, combined with Off the Board. So I am doing Off the Board all month long in July, and we are using Pinterest pins. And in this case, I chose to use this Pinterest pin of using some bubble wrap with some paint to create some circles. And so I did it a slight bit different than what the pin shows, but you know what? That's what the inspiration is all about. It's just to get you started. And I am documenting my Disney day with Chamel, still working on that album a little bit here and there and taking my time with it. So the photos are from that, and I'm super happy to get a couple more photos into my album. So I took this 12 by 12 piece of bubble wrap, and I'm using my Dilutions paint in red, yellow, and blue. And that is the colors that were in the inspiration piece that you saw at the beginning there. And I am just painting some circles onto this bubble wrap. And I know that seems kind of weird, like I should be painting the circle and then putting it down onto my paper. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my white paper, I'm going to lay it on top of this 12 by 12 and then use my brayer to go ahead and pick up that paint. Now I wish I would have not put that yellow circle quite so close to the blue. It should be more evenly spaced between the red and the blue circle, but you know what, that's what I did. So I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. It is the only piece of 12 by 12 bubble wrap that I have. All my other pieces are pretty small, not even as big as that big yellow circle or the big blue circle, so I'm just going with it. I am working fairly quickly because I want to make sure that my paint doesn't dry before I lay down my paper, and that is why I went over that yellow just a little bit more, because there were a couple spots that were looking a bit on the dry side. Now here's the reveal. I really love how it came out. It's I'm just really happy with the way that it turned out. Now, you know, when you do mixed media, it's not supposed to be perfect, and there are some spots that are a little lighter than other spots, but that does not bother me one bit. I am really thrilled with the way it turned out, and we're just going to keep working from there. Now I am using some black paper to mat the entire layout, and I do that frequently, almost all the time. If I have white paper as my background, I mat it with some other color, or I do some stitching around it, or some faux stitching, or some sketchy lines. It just seems to complete the layout in my opinion, and so that's what works for me. I do pull out my black Sharpies. Now this particular black Sharpie is a, no, I think this is my regular, no, it's not my regular Sharpie. It is a brush tip Sharpie. And so I'm just doing some sketchy lines around the circles, and I wasn't super thrilled with the way they turned out. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it here, but I wished I would have used my smaller Sharpie. These lines were just a little bit too bold in my opinion, but I do rectify the situation by adding some sketchy lines with my smaller Sharpie, and that seems to fix the problem. In this case, it looks like I just drew some messy lines around it, at least to my eye, but when I add a couple more of the smaller circles, not smaller circles, but the finer tipped circles around each area, it looks like it's supposed to be that way. So I am happy with the way that it turns out in the end, but like I said, I wasn't super happy with just using the brush marker, and that could have been because it was a brush tip. Maybe if I just used a regular Sharpie, I might have been happier. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but like I said, the fine line seems to rectify the situation. Now I did pull out a whole bunch of my Disney ephemera, and I don't use a ton of it, but I do go through and kind of pull some stuff out. You can see a pile there to the left hand side of the screen. I pulled out anything that had to do with food because I am documenting some snacks at Disneyland, and I don't end up using any of the stuff that I pulled out on that left hand side. So we're just going to go with it. The two photos, the one on the right hand side was a cupcake that Chamel had ordered. And then the big Mickey in the background is the big drink cup. It's like an anniversary or birthday edition or something like that cup. And so he like made an appearance in a couple of photos from the day. And so I documented that. And then the big Sunday looking thing, I think it's like Minnie's kitchen sink, and it's got like a brownie in the bottom. It's got Pocky sticks in it. It's got ice cream. It's got all kinds of candy on top. One of the one of the gals ordered that, and then she shared with several people because there was so much of it. And so it was really fun being able to enjoy that. And of course, this is all way pre-COVID because, I'm sure now we would not be sharing food, but um, this was like in 2019, so, it wasn't a big deal. And then I did pull out the frame at the top, that black frame that I really like. And I'm just kind of like flipping through stuff here, trying to figure out what I'm going to use, what works, what doesn't work, and just playing with the ephemera. I really like that really dark black finish on the tag and on the word dream and on the frame. So those three things are going to stay. Some of the ephemera on the pile on the left hand side, it's not got a glossy finish, it's not really bold, it's kind of muted colors. It's from an Echo Park collection, I want to say. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it's from. But it doesn't, the colors in it don't match up with the colors that are on the background that I've created. So that was the biggest problem that I found with that. So I do decide to go ahead and use that frame like I mentioned, but I don't want the colors to kind of all peek through from underneath the layout. So I back it with a white piece of paper, and I apologize that I'm a little bit off screen here. I don't know what happened. My camera got bumped or something, but I'm a bit off screen there, so I apologize for that. That is the very bottom of the layout. The frame is hanging off of the edge, and it is going to be trimmed down, so you're not missing a whole lot down there, even though it looks like you might be. I did pull out a bunch of cupcake ephemera, and so I do end up using a little bit of that. And then I decide I'm going to go ahead and adhere my photos down. I do like the placement of that, but I want to make sure that word dream sits in there. And so, of course, I have to use that as my spacing guide. And my title is just going to be dream. I don't add anything else to the title, and it works. I mean, it's a Disney layout. You can dream all day about going to Disneyland, Disney World, having Disney snacks, being at the happiest place on earth. If you're not a Disney fan, I don't know what to tell you about that, but for me, it is a super happy place to go and enjoy. And being able to go with, for this class that Shamel was hosting was really a dream for me. I knew she was only going to have a small amount of people there. There were like 20 of us, and we ended up spending the whole day there. We didn't ride a ton of rides, but we did get to check out some things that are oftentimes overlooked when you're at Disney. We had a lot of photography pointers. We had a couple meals together. We just learned a lot about being able to even do photography within the Disneyland parks, things to take advantage, things to look for, small little things that you don't really think of when you're actually at Disneyland. I mean, we all kind of tend to go, oh, let's take a picture with the castle in the background, but what about all of these other things that we don't think about looking for? So that was fun to kind of get somebody else's perspective on. So the other half of that frame, I just cut it off, and you see I tuck it in diagonally above the two photos, and I like how that looks. The little Mickey heart thing does not stay there. I end up swapping that out, but I do like having the frame on the diagonal because it just gives a little bit more of a wonky perspective. I've already got a lot of wonky going on in this layout. My photos are not straight. The polka dots, the big polka dots, are kind of like all over the place. And so it does add to it, but it also has straight lines, which kind of calms things down. I find when you have a layout that has a lot of straight lines, like a grid, it's really nice to add some things that have organic lines, like circles or vines or florals. And then when you have something that has a lot of wonky going on, it is nice to add some straight lines, even if they are at an angle. So that was kind of accomplishing that for me. I am still playing around with where I want my ephemera pieces. And this was a layout that it was kind of funny. I had to keep coming back to. I did a bunch of it in one sitting, but then at the end I was like, you know what? I think it needs some black splatter. Oh, you know what? I think it needs some enamel dots. So you are going to see that come into fruition as we work our way through this layout. I'm adding a little bit of baker's twine. I'm going to tuck that in behind the tag because I like my baker's twine to be tidy most of the time. And then I am going to adhere down those Mickey heads. Those are acrylic Mickey heads. I'm going to adhere those down with some glue dots, as well as that rubber Mickey, let's see here, balloon. It's a balloon. And so while I do that, I'll just remind you, All About the Mouse is every month, the first Monday of the month. And we all either use something Disney related for inspiration, or we document Disney related items. It doesn't have to be a Disney related thing that you're documenting if you're just using Disney as your inspiration. But Disney is involved one way or the other. And so there's a list of people down below playing along with that, so you can check them out. And off the board, we are doing for the entire month of July. I am trying to play along every day. So come back and visit my channel tomorrow and visit everybody else's links down below that is playing along with off the board. Crystal Barrett is definitely playing along all month long, and same with Moira O'Reilly. Crystal started this series, and so she is the genius behind it. We are using our Pinterest pins for inspiration. So I hope you find a lot of inspiration by watching the videos that are presented this month through this challenge. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope to see you guys again tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye.